Former Big 12 rivals will meet this Saturday as Colorado takes on Nebraska. This is one of my most anticipated games of the week. A battle between two teams that are getting a lot of hype, and we're getting a lot of hype entering this season. They both took care of business in week one, but which team will silence the remaining doubters on Saturday? That's what we're here to break down today. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of our exclusive expert picks. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country, beating out over 80% of the national handicappers each of the last 6 years. And we're offering you these picks for one of the lowest prices in the country for a full year-long subscription. Nobody else is offering it that low. No one else is offering a full year-long subscription for that price. We do that because we want you to win big with us. We want you to become a part of our GE Nation. So go check it out. The link for that down in the description below. Our Week 2 picks have already been released, so do not miss out. Go sign up today. So let's take a look at this game, guys. I'm very, very excited for it. And I want to tell you right now, I would expect a different result, at least from a margin standpoint, from what we saw last year. Colorado winning in Boulder 36-14. Just an abysmal game for Nebraska. Turnover-riddled game, ugly game. And what was the second game of the Matt Rule era? I expect things to be a little bit closer this time around for both of these programs. You take a look at the offense, and we'll start with Colorado, of course. It's the Shedeur Sanders show. He is the star of the offense. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. There is no denying that. Threw for over 440 yards last week against North Dakota State, along with 4 touchdowns. He's unbelievable. He's got a great arm. He's extremely accurate. He can make something out of nothing. I mean, it really is just a lot of fun to watch this guy play. And the beauty of it is he's got weapons surrounding him. He's not just a good quarterback with a lackluster crew. He's got talent, namely Travis Hunter, the dangerous two-way player who had 132 yards and 3 of his 4 touchdowns last week. Jimmy Horn led the way for the Buffaloes in their win over the Bison, had 198 yards and a touchdown as well. So all 4 touchdowns went to either Travis Hunter or Jimmy Horn. The majority of the passing yards went to either Travis Hunter or Jimmy Horn. This is a Colorado team that obviously wants to air it out. They are going to air it out. That is their strength. The running game and their pass protection still needs a lot of work. They only mustered 59 rushing yards last week against the Bison. The offensive line still was not great. They only got sacked once, but Shedeur Sanders was under a lot of pressure. A lot of times we had to either throw the ball away or, once again, made something out of nothing. They're going to have to do a better job on Saturday against a much better defense at Nebraska than what they faced against North Dakota State. The Bison, not bad at all, I should add. Nebraska, their offense, that was something that plagued them all of last year and certainly plagued them in that game against Colorado. The beauty for the Cornhuskers is they've got a quarterback. They have finally got themselves a quarterback. The star freshman Dylan Raiola shined in his debut, 238 yards and 2 touchdowns in Nebraska's 40-7 win over UTEP. And it was a very balanced offensive attack for Nebraska. 284 passing yards, 223 rushing yards, and that's exactly what Matt Rule wants to do. This team wants to come out there and be balanced. They don't want to be one-dimensional. They don't want to be solely relying on the pass like Colorado's going to be. They don't want to solely rely on the run. They want to be a relatively balanced team. Last week, 3 players rushed for at least 50 yards. Emmett Johnson leading the way for Nebraska on the ground. And I referenced last year's game. Nebraska didn't have an offense. They didn't have a good quarterback. They were just atrocious from top to bottom. They committed 4 turnovers last year against Colorado. 4 turnovers that led to 17 points for the Buffaloes. And keep in mind, this game was tied 0-0 with less than 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. So Nebraska's defense was holding their own, but when the offense imploded, it gave Colorado opportunities and things began to fall apart. This year, much better quarterback play, should cut down on those turnovers, shouldn't make as many mistakes, should result in a better showing across the board for Nebraska. We're going to break down the defenses for both of these teams next, but first, real quick, a word from our sponsor. We've got a new sponsor for the show this season, Chris Gates Fitness, in his online fitness training camp. Training Camp is a monthly fitness program designed specifically for football fans, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. with hundreds of different workouts and exclusive content such as the calorie calculator and, my personal favorite, the low-calorie, high-protein tailgating cookbook. Training camp is a must for any football fan looking to get or stay in shape. With Chris as your coach, you'll get top-notch guidance. He's been coaching people online since 2018, and like all of you watching, he's a die-hard football fan. His clients consistently get results by implementing a flexible approach to diet and exercise. So if you're interested in getting brand new workout programs every month, fitness challenges every month to push you to develop healthy habits, challenges within the training camp community like weekly football pick'ems, access to live Q&As where you can get direct personalized support from Chris with your health and fitness, and the support of a community of people there to encourage you every step of the way, you need to visit chrisgatesfitness.com/Gridiron Expert, the link down in the description below. Learn more, sign up today, and use our promo code GRIDIRON to get your first month for just $10. So we've established that both of these teams obviously have a pretty good offense. Different styles of offense, but very, very good. Colorado, take a look at their defense. Can they stop Nebraska? That's the million-dollar question. And that's going to be the question we're going to ask ourselves for every Colorado game. I'm not worried about Colorado being able to put up points on pretty much any opponent. I'm worried about Colorado being able to stop their opponents because the Buffalo's defense is still really, really bad. It was horrible last year. It's not looking very good again this year. Last week, allowed 449 yards of offense to North Dakota State, including 157 rushing yards, 292 passing yards. That's a bit of a concern. Obviously, Dylan Raiola, what we saw last week, yes, it was UTEP. Yes, it was just his first start, but he has the talent surrounding him and the arm and the accuracy and the IQ to torch this Colorado secondary for the second week in a row. The defensive line for Colorado, yes, is much improved. We know that. We saw that. They did a pretty good job for the most part containing North Dakota State's ground game, but they still need a little bit of work across the board. Still need that extra push, and I'm interested to see how they fare against a pretty solid Nebraska offensive line. That battle in the trenches. Can that revamped, transfer-ridden Colorado defensive line hold their own, bottle up Nebraska, and force them to be a one-dimensional team? That's what I want to see. But more than anything, one thing I saw last week, Colorado allowed a lot of yards after the catch, a lot of yards after contact against North Dakota State. Can't be having that against Nebraska, especially on the road in Lincoln. Limit the yards after the catch, force mistakes like you did last year. Colorado can win this game. Nebraska, though, they've got a defense. 8 starters back on that side of the ball for the Cornhuskers. Last week allowed just 205 yards to the Miners. This is a Nebraska team that if I'm Matt Rule, if I'm their defense, I'm saying sell out on the pass. I'm not worried about Colorado running on us if I'm Nebraska. I'm not worried about Colorado establishing the run, racking up a bunch of rushing yards, and our defensive line, that's one of the best in the Big Ten, yeah, they can handle that. So if they try to run, the defensive line will bottle that up. But the secondary, which isn't bad, but still has a couple question marks, the secondary is what we've got to focus on if you're Nebraska. Got to find a way to slow that down. Here's the thing. Last year, Nebraska lost the game by 22 points, 36-14. They had 8 sacks. 8 sacks on Shedeur Sanders. They sacked Colorado 8 times. Doesn't include all the other times where they had to throw the ball away or was under pressure, things like that. They're going to create a lot of pressure on Shedeur Sanders again. The Colorado offensive line hasn't improved that much. They're not going to be able to establish the run, and I don't think they're going to be able to contain this very, very good Nebraska defensive line that, once again, is one of the best in the Big Ten. So what the Cornhuskers have to do defensively is, yes, create pressure, yes, try to force some mistakes, but more than anything, just don't get beat deep. Don't allow Shedeur Sanders to make something out of nothing. Last year, Nebraska allowed 6 plays of at least 20 yards to Colorado. They allowed a lot of big-time plays. A lot of big plays. Don't let that happen again. They're not going to commit 4 turnovers like they did last year. I can promise you that. So they're going to cut back on the turnovers. If they can keep doing what they did defensively like last year, they're going to be just fine. So that's the recipe to victory if you are Nebraska. Ultimately, guys, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this will be a closer game. This is a battle between 2 teams in year 2 under each of their coaches that, in theory, have both improved. Different styles of offense, but fun offenses to watch. Nebraska, though, certainly owns the defensive advantage. And really, when I look at this game, I think Nebraska owns the edge in the majority of these categories. Colorado absolutely owns the edge at quarterback. There is no denying that. But Lincoln is going to be rocking. It is not an easy place to play. So Nebraska owns the home field advantage. They absolutely own the edge at the line of scrimmage, and they absolutely own the edge on the defensive side of the ball. Nebraska, hungry for revenge after last year's loss, obviously hyped and pumped with the expectations set before them this year, will get the win on Saturday, and they win it by at least a touchdown. Would not be surprised to see this game won by at least 10 points, but Nebraska does take down Colorado on Saturday night. A little bit closer than last year, but the Cornhuskers this time emerged victorious behind the strength of their defense. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and of course, check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home of those exclusive expert picks. Some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country for one of the lowest prices in the entire country. No other handicapper, no other betting site is offering you this kind of deal like we are, especially with the track record that we have, 63% all-time winning percentage. Go take advantage of it. Sign up with us today and become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.